So it's 2 p.m., so I'd like to resume our C6 session. And next item is a informal presentation from Guangliang, and it talks about Whois update. Actually, it is community consultation because you want to make sure a couple of points, right? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Guangliang Pan, Registration Service Manager at APNIC. Today, I would like to give you a Whois update. Before I go through the presentation, I want to give a bit of background information why I'm presenting this. In the past, we used it to have a SIG called Whois database SIG, Whois SIG, and chaired by Xing Li from Secretariat, China, and actually used to discuss the Whois policy issues and how the technical stuff. And but for some reason, we later on actually decided not to continue the Whois SIG, and we actually moved to the single only policy SIG. And then some of the people suggest maybe APNIC Secretary can give a bit of update on some Whois, the interesting things in Whois, what's going on there. That's why I'm presenting an update here and trying to give you some information about the Whois. And also we want to hear your opinion as well. In today's update, I will talk about 3 items. And first is about the difference between APNIC and Whois database. And then I will talk about the change from members maintainer to APNIC HM for AS number object. And last, I will talk about create route objects for those 4-way AS numbers. Means if your AS number is not under APNIC management, and if you want to create a route object in APNIC Whois database, and what we are going to do with that. Okay, first I would like to talk about the difference between APNIC and Whois. APNIC actually shares WeaponsCC Whois database code, and actually we borrow them. Actually, we actually take the code from WeaponsCC. They decide the code, and then we just use the Whois code. And APNIC also modify the code to meet our own policy requirement. Like if we have a new policy or we have something that is only in APNIC region, so we need to modify the Whois. For example, the latest case, we have a policy to ask for the IRT object encoded in ILET lum, ILET 6 lum, and OUT lum. By the policy, it is mandatory. However, in WeaponsCC, they are actually optional. So we need to modify the APNIC Whois to meet this policy requirement. You can look at it, the Whois template. In APNIC Whois, ILET lum object, and when IRT is mandatory. So you have to have the IRT reference before you can actually create an ILET lum object or update an ILET lum object. But in WeaponsCC, they actually make it as optional. So either you have or not with an IRT object, you can still update your ILET lum objects. And instead of that, actually they introduced an abuse C contact, like abuse contact into the database under their organization object. This graph shows you how the abuse C introduced to the database and how it works. They have an LLM object and linked with an object is an organization object. And the organization object, they have the abuse C content. And then it connected to a role object. And the role object with abuse mailbox. So it uses a little bit different way compared to APNIC Whois. And this is something like, it's because the policy is different. So our Whois will be a bit different to WeaponCC Whois. And also, we are planning to upgrade APNIC Whois as well. Technically, APNIC Whois is in 1.69 version, and WeaponCC Whois is on 1.81. It's a bit ahead of APNIC Whois in technical terms. And so, we are also planning to do the upgrade to make it a bit of like consistent in like a technical point, like a coding and the language of coding. And during that also we will consider some new features which in the new version of the Whois. And I won't give all the detail on those features because quite a lot and also very details. And we planning to do is send that into a mailing list and with the details, and then ask the community to think about it, and you can see, oh, that is okay, that's good, that's bad, and you can actually give opinions. And it's not that urgent. Yeah, you can actually take your time to read and maybe come back to us in the next meeting or during the mailing list. So we will planning to send those features to the mailing list. And I just quickly scan them and give you a bit of information, what kind of new features for consideration. They have something quite interesting. It's called like a Joy 1 update. What's that mean is we want to do something update in texting. And we normally use a text Whois. But if a text Whois, you don't have all the object related. You need to build the object into the text Whois. It's a bit different to the real Whois. But the Joy one is you can actually text the production Whois. Actually, running is look like you are running update the production Whois, and the software will respond. It's same as the production Whois. But in fact, you don't update it. That is a very good, interesting features. And also they have some pending RAW, like how to create a RAW object. Because you need to have password for main RAW for both your IP address and AS number to be able to create a RAW object. And in this feature, they will send those required to the AS number and the IP address port, those maintainers. It's also interesting. And they have some new query fast and to filter out the sentence if like a valid sentence or non-valid sentence. And they also have some new attributes. For example, we use change the field like to mark the day you update the Whois. And now they introduced two new field, which is the day you actually create the object, and the last modified it, which generated by the system to record exactly what's the last. You need to delete it and you create a new one. But now they seems allow you to modify the name of the person and the role object. This is some interesting features we can consider, and we will send that to the mailing list with details. But we're not going to discuss it here today because it's a policy sake. And the time also limited. Move on into the second item I want to talk is about change the outline maintainer. Currently, the outline is an AS number object. It's manned by our members maintainer, which actually allow people to easily modify the routing policy. In the past, this update who is not that easy. You can have like use email, send to auto DBM, such things. So to allow the people update the outline easily, so we put members maintainer into the outline. So if you change your upstream and you want to change your routing policy, you can actually update your outline object easily. But from time to time, we very often find members accidentally deleted their outline object. After you delete it, you can't put it back into Whois. And then they will straight away call host master. Hey, sorry, I deleted my outline. Can you help me to put it back? And even last week, we got one case before I flew to Jakarta. So that is some case like, it's a bit funny. People just accidentally delete it and they couldn't put it back, and then it caused them dramas. To avoid that situation, we suggest to change the member from members maintainer to APNIC HM. In that case, only APNIC host master can delete the object. And solve that problem. When they actually create a route object, they will send an email to you, ask you to verify, and then you conform. That probably the function will actually work.
But
Yeah.
you know, if it goes to the help desk queue and it takes
Yeah.
a while, then that does not serve the purpose, right? Because that means
That will be automatic. I guess that
Yeah.
is the function we probably planning to consider. So when
Yeah.
we send that to the mailing list, maybe you can actually command to really support or lead that function, and then we can implement it. That
Okay.
is the point we actually trying to consult the community. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Elvis?
Hi,
Hi.
Elvis Velavi for escrow. There was a long discussion about routes and ADB and everything, and I'm not going to go back to that. But the pending route authorization only works if both the INETNUM and the OTNUM objects are in the APNIC database, right?
Okay. It's,
I think that's how it is right now in the RIVE database. It
Yeah.
only allows a route authorization.
yeah.
So you can initiate the creation of the route object,
Yeah.
and an email will be sent to the second party,
Yeah.
but only if these two parties are in the same database.
Yeah.
I would say, because you guys are planning to use the latest version of the RIVE database, and the RIVE, so it's basically the same database software. I would actually give you, again, just as a feedback, it would be a very good idea if this could be expanded, both in the RIVE region and APNIC, they're using the same database as well,
Yeah.
and the APNIC, to basically, when you want to create a route object,
Yeah.
and you are the holder of either the IP addresses or the IS number, you initiate the creation in the database, and the databases could talk to each other and notify the holder of the corresponding object in the maybe other region,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
With an email to confirm the authorization, so it doesn't have to go through the hostmasters.
Yes, yes, exactly. That is the idea. I think a very good idea. I'm thinking we need some software to develop an automated system.
Yeah,
Ask them to conform.
Yeah,
Yes.
so if someone wants to create a route object with an IS number from APNIC and IP addresses from RIPE,
Yes.
it would very simply go to the APNIC database, initiate the creation of the object. The object has a holding time of 1 week, I think. The databases talk to each other, and the APNIC database tells the RIPE database, hey, who is the holder of this IP, who is the notify of this IP range? The RIPE database gives back the email address that should be notified, and that email address gets notified, and that's it.
Yes, yes, exactly. I think that's a very good idea.
And then both parties, both the holder of the IS number and the holder of the INEDM object, have accepted the creation of that route object.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your comment. All right, then,
Okay,
yeah.
good, yeah. I have one question
Okay,
about
yes.
second last slide, which says
Second
about
last.
OTNAM maintainer.
Outline?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one. So, but I think some members update this object by script or tool. In
Yes.
such case, doesn't it cause some problem if you will change as it can be updated only through my APNIC?
Yes, if they want to use the email update, yes, it may be couldn't able to update it because that member HM, and they can only use my APNIC to update.
Don't you have any plan to provide web API in such case?
Yeah, maybe we can consider another like a easier function. Yeah, before we implement it, we just suggest to do this, and then that's why we see if any opinion from the community. Yeah. Thank you.
Is there any further comments or questions? If not, thank you very much. Then.
Thank you.
So next one is another informational presentation from Tomohiro. And what's the title? It's which IP address should be used to implement IoT or M2M services?
Thank you, Masato-san. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tomohiro Fujisaki again, and this time I would like to discuss about the necessity of policy change or creation of the new policy for the IoT purpose. Okay. As many of you know, Internet of Things, IoT, has become so popular topics in the Internet. And many IoT device services has been started, and many IoT-related consortiums have been established and started to discuss many aspects of IoT, such as business issues, platform creation, and security issues, and so on. But I personally think to implement the IoT service, addressing could be one important consideration point. So, but I never heard these consortiums or the groups discuss about the addressing issue. And here, addressing IoT, I would like to discuss about that, but one assumption is that here I would like to discuss only the IPv6 address issue, because in IPv4 case, we can use only the private address and no other address blocks for this purpose. So I would like to discuss about IPv6 policy. So to hold this discussion, addressing highly depends on the network structure. So I will show you some IoT service network example. This here show you 4 types of network. First one is non-IoT dedicated network, and second type is a dedicated network connected to the internet, and third type is IoT dedicated cross network, and fourth is a non-IP network with IP gateway. And maybe there are other type of IoT network. So if you know or if you have such kind of network, please let me know. Okay, this is the first example, non-dedicated network. Maybe this is not, in this case, the IoT device is connected to the current internet. And second type is dedicated network connected to the internet. This figure shows only limited network, but there are many other wide area networks, such as car network or the weather sensor network. Maybe that network will be a nationwide network. And third type is IoT dedicated cross network. This is a factory automation network or something like that. There are many types of this network. And fourth type is a non-IP network, but there are some IP gateway and assign the proxy IP address for each IoT device. So the next few slides, I'll show you the current IPv6 address policy. And we have currently 2 types of address policy. One is IPv6 allocation policy, and another is IPv6 assignment policy. And this slide shows the IPv6 allocation policy, and red line shows I assume that this red line have an impact to the IoT addressing. So for the allocation, the organization to get the IP address, it should not be inside, and also have some criteria, number of assignment criteria, and so on. Maybe this become a problem if some organization got IPv6 address with this allocation policy. And for the assignment policy, this is current APNIC assignment policy, and some organization want to get IPv6 address with this policy. Maybe they use the provider independent address policy, and in this category, the criteria is here, and also this red line is have an impact to the address. Requesters, if they have able to demonstrate the reason why they cannot get IP address from the other ISPs or not, this might have an impact to the IoT service. So with this policy, in the next slide, I show you the impact of the policy to the proposed network, IoT example network structure. So the first type, non-dedicated network, maybe this is no problem with current policy because the IoT devices is connected to the current internet, and maybe these IoT devices have the ISP address. And second type is the dedicated network connected to the internet, and if it's in this case, if using the ISP address, these addresses, IoT device addresses is provided by the connectivity provider, it's okay. But if these IoT devices, device service is provided by the something like the IoT service provider, maybe it has a problem. I'm not sure they can get IPv6 address or not. And of course, third type, this is a closed network, and just now I'm not sure which address should be used in this type of closed network. As you know, IPv6 has the private address, URL address, but I'm sure it's suitable for this kind of network. And of course, we can use the PI address, PI IPv6 address for that purpose, but this is also not sure this network can get the PI address. And also, yes, fourth type of network, there are IP gateway and there are non-IP devices under that gateway. And in this case, so which address should be used at the gateway, and also how much address should be assigned to this network. These two are problem. So this is the summary slide, and address depends on the network structure. So as I said, these four types of network can get IPv6 address or not. This is one big problem. And I would like to hear your opinion, and are there any cases where current IPv6 address policy cannot cover? For example, there are other type of IoT network, and I think we have to discuss the necessity of the policy change. And also, if you have any opinion or you have any example, I would like to hear about which address should be used in the closed IoT network. It is possible to use the global PI address, or it should be used the URL central or URL address. Okay, this is end of my presentation. Please, does anyone have any questions or comments? Or?
Yeah, is there any comment or questions? Go ahead.
Adil Sadiq from Pakistan.
Thank you.
So could you please explain that other type of IoT network? Could you please explain this term? That's pretty ambiguous to me. The first point, other type of IoT network. What kind of IoT network are you talking about here? That you cannot use the current IPv6 address policy. Could you please shed some light on that?
Yeah, just I would like to say, I show you four type of, I show four type example of network, and other type says other network except for this four type of network.
So you want to make sure, is there any other types of use case
Yeah,
for
usually
IoT
yes.
or not? David, go ahead.
Hello, David Huberman from Microsoft. Fujisaki-san, thank you very much. This is very good.
Thank you.
As a community, when we think about IP addressing policy,
Yep.
I think as an engineer, it's very important that we say, if I'm building a network and I have devices which speak IP, or that I should have the ability to decide for myself if I need to give it a PI address or ULA or something, okay? So when we consider IPv6 policy as we move into this Internet of Things, I strongly hope and encourage my fellow operators in APNIC to be very liberal with our policies, allowing engineers to make the decisions they feel are best, because this is all so new for all of us. How do we decide what should and should not happen?
Exactly, yes. I agree. Thank you.
Oh, Fujisaki-san, I have one comment about use case. I think we also have another use case, which is a combination of second and fourth one. So, I mean, it is dedicated IP network,
Yeah.
but it has a gateway
Yeah.
for internet.
Mhm.
So that is a variation for both one.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there any other comments? I also would like to discuss about the next step, because it's quite pretty new topic for us. So I think we cannot reach any conclusion in this meeting, but we need to continue discussion about this topic. So is there any suggestion about the next step? Well, Tomohiro, do you
Yeah.
have any idea?
Oh, okay, yeah, in any case, I would like to continue to discuss about this topic. So I post the mailing list to kick off the discussion. So yes, let us continue to discuss on the mailing list, and possibly, so if there are many people to have interest in this topic, we would like to have another session at the next policy meeting. Yeah.
So I think people in here is not directly responsible for your company's IoT or MTM services. So if possible, please bring back these use cases to your organization and ask appropriate division whether these use cases are covered what they are thinking right now or not, then feed it back to this community. I think it is very helpful for further discussion. Is it okay? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
very
you so
much for
much.
good presentation from
Thank you.
Tomohiro. But you're our next speaker also, so
Yeah.
please stay here. But anyway, thank you very much. We have very good progress. So let's go to last item, which is Prop 115. And it is a registration of detailed assignment information in Whois database. So please present.
Yes. Good afternoon again, and I'm Tomohiro Fujisaki again. And at the previous meeting in Fukuoka, this topic was presented by the Hiromi-san INTEC, but unfortunately she did not join this meeting, so this time I present the proposal 115. Okay, this is the problem statement. And to specify the individual user or organization in the current internet, additional information is necessary. And without this additional information, operators cannot filter out specific abuse address. So it might lead to the overfilter in some cases. And I show you two examples. And one example is the network using IPv4 address sharing technology case. And this example shows the one IP address is shared by the several internet users. In this case, if there are one bad guy in this group, and the outside network operator would like to filter out this one user, but if the user outside network operator do not have the proper information of their port range for the user, the bad user, the outside operator can filter out the full address space of this. So this is one problem in the IPv4 address sharing technology case. And second case is address assignment size information in IPv6. And as you know, the IPv6 address assignment size to users may be different among ISPs. And currently, no information about the address assignment size. So this is assignment by the 56 case, but if we don't have the assignment size information, we cannot filter the individual users. So in some cases, the network operator filter out the full address range. Okay, this is the problem statement. And so this is the objective of the policy change. And so to provide more detailed assignment information to network operators and to identify the individual organization or users. And if such kind of information is available, lot of operators can filter out properly their bad users. And the operators check Whois database record when harmful traffic is coming to the network, and the operator decides to filter or not with that information. So our goal is providing more specific information to support these operations. And this is one point that we have no intention to expose the each user's private information, but only for the assignment information about to filter. Okay, and this is the situation in other regions. And currently, as far as I know, no same regulation and discussions can be seen in the other regions. And this is the proposed solution. And adding following information to the Whois database. For the IPv4 case, the port range information for the when the ISPs uses IPv4 address sharing technology. And for IPv6, assign prefix size information to the assignment information. And this is just an example, not the concrete proposal, but for the IPv6 case, such kind of fields it is good to add such kind of field. And of course, in this case, I show you the adding the additional field, but it's possible to use the remarks field here. And in that case, maybe we need no change to the Whois system. And also, this is IPv4 case, but I think this is just an example. But I'm sure it is good, but such kind of information should be registered in the Whois database. Okay, and this is advantages and disadvantages. And the advantages is obvious, and operators can configure access filter by using correct assignment information. And also, users who share the same address or the neighbor address space can avoid the damage of the overfiltering. And there are some disadvantages, and operators need to check registered database records frequently because maybe that kind of information is changed. And in that case, to add some field, the additional record option should be considered for the Whois database. And for the other soldiers, additional registration workload will be needed. This is disadvantages. Okay, and this is the impact on the APNIC and APNIC members. And for APNIC, if we have to modify the Whois database, there is some cost to modify the system. And for APNIC members need to update their records if this field is created. And this is a discussion on SIG policy ML. And we got only one supporting message. And in the message, says these kind of 3 points. First, it helps law enforcement as well as those who wish to report network abuse. This is one point. The second point is it allows for more targeted spam filtering. And third point is, like this. But at the same time, the person says this should not be mandatory, but the option for the database holders. Okay, this is summary. We propose to add some assignment information to the Whois database. And with that information, operators can set filters with this detailed information. Okay, this is the end of my presentation. Any questions or comments?
Thank you. Is there any comment or questions? Let's go. Go
Hi,
ahead.
this is Yoshinobu Matsuzaki from IIJ. Actually, I'm opposed to this proposal because it brings too much complexity to the Whois database. Probably it's interesting to have such information somewhere else, but not in the Whois database.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mazu-san, do you have any opinion where we should put such kind of database information here?
In the internet, we have an internet routing registry, and to register information, we use RPSL, routing specification language, or routing policy specification language.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an assignment policy.
Yeah.
So probably you need to develop a new language like assignment policy specification language to describe LIR's assignment policy, right?
Yep.
So I don't know where we can have, but probably not in the Whois. Thank you.
Also, why do you think it is too much for Whois database?
Because to specify like port numbers in Whois database, I don't know how much record we need in the database. That explore, I don't know how much. Not like a double, but much more than that, right?
So how do you think about the IPv6 case?
Okay, again, it's an assignment policy. Probably LIR can say, okay, in this range, we assign the /56 or 64 for the end users. Still, it's a policy statement. So we can have other database to describe such kind of the policy statement.
Okay, thank you.
Really, go ahead.
Billy with the Korea Internet and Security Agency. We actually had a survey on this proposal to get some opinions from our member ISPs.
Okay, thank you.
And the result, we oppose this proposal because the main opinions from our members, member ISPs, is that detailed information on Whois network probably being used by being used as basic information for the network infringement, such as hacking and spamming. And the other reason is that workload that this thing created. Yeah, so I think those main reasons I just wanted to deliver from Korean community, ISP communities. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, 1 second. We have a comment from after, so.
Yeah, after major comment that Whois database as we stand today is already so much inaccurate because people do not update that properly. So it might be again a challenge if we add more records there, and it's a wrong record, it's not always good at all.
Okay, thank you. After
No, I'm going to be a gentleman and let
Oh, okay.
Ingrid go ahead.
Ingrid from RIPE NCC. For a comment on what is done in the RIPE database. With objects that have aggregated by LAR, we have an assignment size attribute where the LAR has to indicate which size they will use to assign from that prefix. Whether they do /56s or 64s, they need to indicate that in that attribute, but no further details.
thank you.
Bertrand.
Bertrand Chaillet from Micrologic Systems.
you.
You've got two cases in your proposal. The first one, I strongly oppose it, same as last time in Fukuoka, because to me it's encouraging people to use CGN instead of deploying IPv6 on one hand. But your case number 2 might be very interesting just to get information on who is using IPv6 addresses blocks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and actually, I think Billy's comment is also related with only first point, I mean, port range. Gaurav.
This is Gaurav Badam. Why Whois? Why not DNS or BGP or something else?
Yeah, actually, I think it's one option. Yeah, it's just, yes, operator want to know the size or the port information. So the Whois is one proposal. So if we can get such kind of information from another system, maybe the DNS is one possible option.
I think
it's okay.
DNS and BGP are more robust than Whois.
Yeah.
So, Whois has a lot of useless data in it, to use a very polite language. So I don't think this is a good proposal, but if you do some work on putting it into DNS or BGP, it might be more interesting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any comments or questions? So I think right now we have two major discussion points. First one is which kind of information should be added, right? Then we have some concerns about publishing port range from security perspective, but many of you are pretty supportive for announcing assignment range, assignment size. And also another discussion point is whether we will use Whois database or not. I think these are two major discussion points, but is there any other discussion points? Tomohiro, also,
Yeah.
I think you also suggest to have some kind of research project?
Yeah.
Which kind of information is needed and what's the purpose of
Yep.
of them?
Yes.
You want to explain about that?
Yeah, actually, there are so many opinions about, and we have to consider about actually which system should we use or which kind of information should we collect, register, or maybe I personally think this is not for the APNIC only problem, but also the more global problem. So just now, I'm not sure the exact next step. I cannot imagine the exact next step, but we have to consider and discuss about such kind of points.
Then KLNIC already did some surveys to your members, right?
Hi, Billy again. Not officially, but anyway, we invited the major ISPs like top, till top 10, probably. Yeah. So we asked the network operators, what if this policy is implemented in here? Then what kind of it affects your operation? And that we got the opinions. Those two opinions were my observation.
Okay, thank you. So, if there is no further comments, I would like to ask consensus about this proposal, but also, okay, anyway, so I would like to ask your opinion about this consensus. And as we did in this morning, you have 5 options: strongly support, support, neutral, oppose, strongly oppose. So, can you switch to Concur? So if you strongly support this proposal, please raise your hand now. Oh, I mean, strongly support this proposal as it is, please raise your hand now. Okay. If you support this proposal as it is, please raise your hand. Okay, so if you are neutral or still wondering about this proposal as it is, please raise your hand now. Okay. If you oppose to this proposal as it is, please raise your hand now. Okay. If you strongly oppose to this proposal as it is, please raise your hand now. Okay, so we saw some strongly oppose and also several oppose for this proposal. So, let's forget about the discussion point, whether we will use Whois database or not, but let me ask which kind of information should be published. So first, let me ask about port range. Oh, let me simplify a little bit. So this time you only have 2 options: you support or oppose, you oppose. Okay. So if you basically support to publish port range information in some way, please raise your hand now. If you oppose to publish port range information, please raise your hand. Then can I assume these opposition comes from security reason? Okay, so let me ask about assignment size. So if you basically support to publish or share assignment size information in some way, please raise your hand now. Okay, if you oppose to share assignment size in some way, please raise your hand now. Okay, so regarding assignment size, there are some support and no opposition for that. So I think further next step will be, let me ask to the community. So I think suggestion for about next step is to have more survey, which kind of information should be published and which kind of information should be not published, and also which solution is suitable to use to share such information like Whois database or BGP or DNS. So let me ask your opinion whether we will have such survey in APNIC AP region or not. So if you think we need to have such survey, please raise your hand now. Okay. If you think we don't need to such survey and it is waste of resource, please raise your hand now. Okay, so it seems there is no objection to have such survey. So yeah, I need to decide how to proceed this proposal itself. So let me push back this proposal to the mailing list and also ask to have such survey to the AMM in this evening. Is it okay? Okay. But anyway, thank you very much for proposing this one.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So this one was last item of policy SIG. But we have, I saw Connie on the election chair over there, so it should be done. Okay, got it. Yeah, it's okay. Which one? Announce first or? Okay, go ahead. Do the SIG meeting first? Which one? After that? Yeah. Fine. Go ahead.
Now it's the announcement of election result. I'm happy to say the results are here with me right now, and also that there are no disputes have been brought up. I would like to call one of the scrutineers to make a comment on the vote count process before I announce the results. Please, Rumi. There, okay.
Hi, this is Rumi from the RIPE NCC. Agustin from LACNIC and myself have observed the voting, and we did not observe any abnormalities. Everything went according to plan. So look forward to hear the results. Thank you.
Thank you, Rumi. Thank you, Agustin. I have the envelope with me right now. It's still sealed, and I will open it in front of you right now. Okay, the result. 2015 NRO number council election. Today, 10 September 2015. Result announcement. Total paper ballots counted, there are 46. Total valid paper ballots counted, 46 also. Total invalid paper ballots counted, 0. Total aggregate counts for online votes, 42. Total aggregate counts for on-site votes, 46. Candidate name, Tomohiro Fujisaki. Total vote count for each candidate, 59. Candidate name, Kong Deep. Total vote count for each candidate, 11. Muhammad Nadir bin Ali. Total vote count for each candidate, 5. Candidate name, Sandeep Goel. Total vote count, 5. Sarjono Insani. Total vote count, 5. Raja Muhammad Azim. Total vote count, 2. Dhruba Adhikari. Total vote count, 1. Elias Mandawali. Total vote count, 0. Therefore, the successful candidate is Tomohiro Fujisaki. Signature, yeah, applause for them. Thank you for the tellers, Connie Chan, Zen Chuan, Wita Laksana, and George Kuo. Thank you.
Oh, regarding last proposal, I got some complaints over the chat, but I would like to make it clear. I said I will ask to have survey which kind of information should be shared in some way, which kind of additional information should be shared by some way, or which kind of information should not be shared by some way, like we have discussed about, like we have discussed about port range, but it's not the decision in here, because we can decide on the we can ask consensus about only each official proposal, and this proposal itself is pushed back the mailing list. Also, some remote participants asked why it is not rejected, because I think it's still pretty new concept, so I don't think I think it is not fair to reject it at this stage before asking the result of such survey. So it's some kind of pending status. That's the background of my decision. Okay. Then I got the message from Adam, but what I mean? In last week, you mean? Okay. Since we have some time, let me explain about our pretty newest proposal. Actually, it has not yet been accepted, but in last week, we received new draft proposal, but it was after the deadline, and also it's not yet been, it was not yet so mature, so I decide not to present it in here, but basically basically it is related with Jeff's presentation in this morning, because right now we have two different address pool, which is one is last thrush 8, and also another one is IANA return pool. And basically, if applicants show enough needs, they will receive thrush 22 from last thrush 8 pool, and also another thrush 22 from IANA return pool. That is current operation. And this new proposal asks request to combine these two pools. So actually it means applicant can receive single thrush 21 instead of two thrush 22. But I said to the author that since these two pools have different policies and have different supply and these two pools have different history, so please consider these points and update his proposal. So he's now improving his proposal, so it may be presented in next meeting. But I just want to let you know we have another new one right now, but it was received after the deadline, so it was not discussed in this meeting. That's the situation. Okay, so if there's nothing, I'd like to close this meeting. And thank you very much for each presentators and also each proposal, each authors of proposals. And thank you very much for everybody.